Hey y'all, it's me again, Joey.
Well, ready to let them loose?
Yep, that's it. Let's see if they make us run.
Oh,
Probably so.
yeah, that one tried to get after him, but other than that, what can you expect? I mean, can you blame them? Oh yeah, they're getting after us now. Go, Joey, go!
They mad.
They're mad, buddy. I'm gonna get in the truck. You gotta go back and get your camera.
But also, just get as many as you can off the one next to it. Out.
You gotta move forward.
Do that side again. Y'all ready? Let's get started. Well, hello, everybody. Hope everybody over in the chat's doing well tonight. Looks like we got about 25 on already. Here comes.
Smartest people in the country.
Yep. How you doing, Mr. JW?
Just wonderful. Life's just a dream.
Yeah. That's what it feels like sometimes.
Right, Mr. Prater? Life
What's
is
that?
wonderful. Said life is just wonderful, right?
Correct.
I've been bees all week this week. I'm
Have
finally,
you?
I think, caught up. I'm going to start fishing next week, I think.
There
I
you
got
go.
everything treated. I think I got everything. Of course, about that thing, I'll go in there tomorrow or the next day, and things will go back to normal. I'll be fighting them again. So I got all my Apigard treatments done and got all my mites under control, I think, and I've got my hive beetles under control, I think, and I've got life's just good. I'm telling you, it's good.
Yeah. I hadn't been in a live beehive since the date of the video. Well, I have been in one more. It was the same day though. But the video that came out this morning. But I have been in the dead outs. I had to clean them up. Been in them cleaning them up, and some of them were worse than others. I was able to salvage some comb.
I had one abscond in the last 10 days.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah, I
lot.
knew it. It ended up over here.
I really think that's what happened to the three that I had in that video. I think they just kind of like at least two of them plugged themselves out and just left.
Yeah. This was that last swarm that I got, and I didn't move them. I put them in a box that come out the same right next to where they was. I always just do my little secret treatment with the pallet in front of the hive to get them to reorientate. But this bunch, I think, if you want to know the truth, I think it was a virgin queen, maybe. It was a small swarm, and I feel like maybe she went off to get mated, and the rest of the bees went back to the old boxes because there wasn't a thing in that hive. I was aggravated at them. I only put in 2 frames of drawn comb, and they didn't stay there. They didn't either.
Yeah.
Either were mad at me because I didn't give them a full bunch of drawn comb, or they was mad because I didn't treat them like I treated the rest of the hives in that yard. So anyway, they're gone. So that's my story of what went on in my world this week.
Yeah. I do know one thing, and I think I did mention this last week too. A bunch of that honey that I had pulled out, instead of uncapping it, I just put that capped honey out on the back porch and let the bees drive it up. Somebody's echoing. But anyway, the bees tore that comb up. I mean, they messed it up big time. It's still usable, but they took a lot of wax off of it. They didn't need to.
You still hearing an echo?
No, I think it went away.
Hmm.
You heard from our guest?
Yeah, I told him to come on at 8 o'clock. I knew I was going to be
Okay.
trying to get home.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So I told him to come on at 8. He said, sounds good. I gave him the link and all.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and put the link in here in case anybody wants to come in. We'll have plenty of room for it. Let's see. Now I got to go pin it. You're going to hear me echoing. Where's that? Pin message. All right. The link is pinned, I think. I didn't even check it. Well, Tom, how's your week been?
It's been pretty busy, actually. Trying to get stuff taken care of before I leave tomorrow. I was going to try to get all my colonies fed, actually. This week I mixed up, a couple hundred gallons of sugar syrup and a little over a 1-to-1 and put a little bit of Hive Alive additive into it. And started feeding the other day, got part of it done, and tried to get as much done today after our market as I could, but unfortunately I was racing time here, so I still have another yard and a quarter to finish up, so I'm going to start back tomorrow morning before we leave. Hey, Todd.
Yes, sir.
What's for dinner, man?
Well, I broke down. I went to Jimmy John's.
Oh, that's not bad.
Jones.
It's sitting in the fridge, all wrapped up. So
I like the number 14, the turkey, cheese, and roast beef. That's my go-to.
I get the 11, but today I got the 5. I forgot what it's. It's got capicola and
Yep.
provolone and something else.
Like an Italian sandwich.
Yeah.
That's good too.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you want something fairly quick and you want a good sandwich, not some trash, that's my go-to.
Yeah. That's where I go. I forgot to thaw out some chicken last night, so
Yeah.
it's a cook error. So I'll have chicken tomorrow night.
Okay. Hey, Brian, I'll eat that burger. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten dinner yet.
What do you think, Joey? What do you like best, number 3 or number 6?
I wouldn't know what the numbers are. I just have to see who got what.
I believe I'll go for 9.
You don't even know what that is.
Number 9 used to be a good Taco Bell meal. I don't know about it.
Hold on. Good meal and Taco Bell. Is that not an oxymoron?
It is these days, yes.
No.
There was a time.
Yeah, I suppose maybe like way back kind of time,
Oh, I tell you.
Uh-huh.
Hey, when are they going to release the? I'm thinking about sending in a black jar for Navi, but when is all that going to start happening?
Well, I mean, you won't be able to enter anything in until the day of.
Oh,
So you'll have to bring that with you.
I'll probably just ship it to you, and then
Yeah, fire away.
I won't be able to carry it on a plane.
If that's Blucher, I'll eat it all before it gets here, and I'll just put some trash honey in there.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I'll send it to JW instead.
Oh, he'll probably sell it on his little wagon
Yeah,
market deal, and put premium Cali honey on it.
yeah.
I'll make you a deal. If you send me a small sample, I'll bring that for you, and I'll take extra special care of it. Doesn't have to be big. I just want to try it.
Brad, Cajun Homestead, it's been a while since I've bought from anybody other than local, but I used to always use Date Ant, Blue Sky Bee Supply. There was one more, but I would just shop around with those three when I got ready to buy plastic bottles, and whoever the best was, including the cost of shipping, or if it was free, is the way I went. And I always bought it by bulk. But here for the last year or two, I've been buying it kind of a local place here in Ponchatoula, pretty close to us. Where y'all buy y'all's plastic bottles?
I used to buy mine from Gamber, but I'm not going to be doing plastic anymore.
Why?
Customers. Microplastics. Everybody's making comments about microplastics and this and that, and okay, I'll switch.
I like to squeeze it.
Yeah, it's convenient.
That shaking, get that.
This is the only squeeze bottle that we use. It's got that little inverted.
Well, that's the kind I used to use all the time.
That's I think Melissa said we can get those from Man Lake.
I would still use them. I wish the place that where I get them now sold those, but they don't. I tried to get them to start handling those, but they won't do it. So, but I used to love those bottles.
Most of the glass that we carry, besides the Muth, we carry a small 3-ounce. Don't judge the label being crooked on this one. It's kind of, but we got these little bitty mason jar deals. They're actually really kind of cool. People really like them. They're like 3 ounces.
Yeah.
On those, everything else is glass. We have the Muth glass, which is the 1 pound, and also the 8 ounce. Of course, we have the quart jars. People are really tend to gravitate toward the quart jars too.
I saw somebody else with a place somewhere, and I then passed it up, I guess.
Yeah, I sell more quart jars than anything out of my little.
I've been moving a few quarts here lately. Usually it kind of stays a little stale.
Quarts are 2-pounders. That's what I sell the most of.
All right, I'm going to find it.
Why don't you email me a quart of honey, JW? I'll email you some money.
I don't email. I can email you the honey. You don't have to email me the money because it would never get here anyway. Somebody steal it on the way.
Dave on Cyprian.
There you go.
Well, Galloway Lights, what you up to? How's your bees?
Oh, I was waiting for the smoker guy to come in tonight, but yeah, I'm over here at my meter hive. It's got an electric meter next to it. They say that it kills bees, it makes them get distracted. So this looks like they're still doing good. I put a little diversion on the entrance. They're trying to get them to go a little higher. because I tried using a metal tube, but I did it all in one day, and they couldn't figure out how to get back in there, and I got sick of them going here and getting lost. So I was going to do slowly raise it up each day, but as you can see, I stopped right there because I got distracted with life.
Yeah.
But, my wife doesn't like walking into the cloud of bees, so I was trying to get them over her head. But so far, they don't seem to be bothered by the electric meter at all.
Let's see.
And you guys sell honey in the mail?
I don't. I don't make a habit of it anyway.
I couldn't believe the price of the honey. It was almost $14 to send in the mail. Somebody said they sent or somebody else that it was $20 to send in the mail.
From where to where, Frank?
I think I was sending out toward Texas. It was 1 pound.
Have you tried pirate shipping?
How do you find that?
Pirateship.com. Well, yeah, pirateship.com.
I mean, you have to drive to them, or
We lost him.
you have to drive to them?
He went out. Now, do you look? Wait, did he
He's in
get back in?
California, you know, nothing. You know, they probably barred him for being a conservative.
They're going to boot him out of the state now. They're already packing his bags for him, aren't they?
Yeah. Move him out, poor devil.
That's right. We could probably make room for him over here in the Midwest, couldn't we?
As long
I
as he stayed
shipped,
on your-
I shipped,
as long as he stayed on your side of the river, he's more your guys' type than he is
All right.
mine.
Yep. No, we
I
can.
shipped him and Hannah a 1 pound bottle, plastic,
Where you been?
and 1 8-ounce jar, 8 ounces of creamed honey. I think it's like $12. That was USPS priority.
I use pirate shipping, and I just sent some stuff. Oh, I've been sending stuff to the East Coast. It's been like 2 pound package or box total weight, 2.5. And I paid, well, I'll look, but I paid probably $9. I think I did pay, and that was UPS. I did pay another charge that was higher to the same state, but UPS charged a rural delivery rate or a rural delivery fee. So it was like $4 extra.
Because they had to go out in the desert somewhere.
No, it was. Yeah, I won't point out the state, but it was just in a rural area, I guess. And so UPS said, "Well, it takes time to get there, so we're charging you more." So I'm like, "All right, whatever." But it was, it was still not too expensive.
So how do you get pirate? You have to find a store that does that, or
Right now they have agreements with UPS and the post office. So you drop it off at a UPS store or at a post office.
oh, okay.
You got to print your own label, and then you got to package it and take it to the store, and then that's that.
Pirate ship for years. They do 21 class or first class. That's
Yeah.
Highland Honey said that.
It's a good deal. This year they
So they're
did
using
a rate increase.
So they're doing the same carriers, or how they do that?
Probably just using that for a pickup spot.
Well, I don't know how they get the agreements, but UPS goes to the UPS store, post office goes out of the post office. And those are the only two places I use. They don't have agreements yet with FedEx. I don't think that I don't know if they'll get one or not.
I ordered something one time and it was shipped by some strange company. I didn't request it. That's just the way they sent it. And it started with UPS, and I tracked it, and it went to Bogalusa. And that Bogalusa is kind of east of me. It went to Bogalusa. Bogalusa took it to Franklinton, which is west of me, and then it was brought to my house. DHL. Sounds right.
I wonder if they sent it to like a hub, and then the long distances where they use their own hauler.
Who knows?
I thought it was kind of odd that it went all the way it went through a couple different states, all UPS, and then went over to USPS.
I know when I order stuff from Walmart, I get any Tom, Dick, and Harry in some private car dropping off the stuff.
A lot of that going on with even Amazon's people now. Post office deliveries. They're doing a lot of contract people.
Yeah, this is regular old car, and I'm like, who is that? Is that my sister, or who is that?
The best service we get around here is a regional company now. I know John Hill used them quite a bit. It's called Speedy. I get a lot of stuff through them anymore.
Are they like Walmart? They just have all kinds of people that supply through that channel?
No, it's a company. They've got their own vehicles and stuff, but they're regional for them out here in the Midwest, for as I know. For
Is that only honey stuff?
Pardon me?
Is that only honey stuff or beekeeping
No,
stuff?
they do everything. They're just a delivery service like UPS or FedEx.
Oh, okay.
They're just not as big. They're just a regional company here in the Midwest, I think.
It's a shame Sears got knocked out so early. They could have been boom again.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, you guys are all talked out.
You guys. I go say you guys are.
Everybody's sleepy.
Gonna force me into bringing on my buddy and singing for you or something. Well,
Don't you have the banjo?
Banjo. I got something better than a banjo. I got it ball.
Yeah.
I can play this. I can play the staple gun.
Hey, Jags.
Oh, Jigs, how you doing?
Anybody getting ready to build hives and stuff? Getting ready for the winter? All those projects?
I hope I'm ready.
Me too. As far as I know, all my hives are full.
Yeah, I only have a couple boxes left now. I guess next year I got to plan bigger, right?
Yep.
I was starting to get nervous.
Whatever you got, double it plus 10%.
I did that last year and didn't use any of it. I losing so many, I started all over again.
Oh,
I think I had 6 that came through winter. That was horrible.
How many did you go into winter with?
I think it was like 20. But I was doing a lot of experimental splits with real small colonies that were like maybe 4 frames wide. So they're really small. They're not even that big.
You're
So
up,
I was
you're up
trying
in
all different experiments to see what you could do to see if they could go through.
you're up in the north, right?
New Jersey, so it's kind of in the middle. It's
Yeah,
not real warm.
that can be iffy here sometimes.
But they get cold spells up and down, and they get stranded from the food fairly easy.
I
But what
got a
saved me last year is I fed them with the fondant, the homemade stuff that I forget who it was. One of the YouTubers was making, where you boil the sugar, 5 parts sugar to 1 part water, and you boil it until it gets to like soft boil. But that saved me because I could take that little packet of food and move it wherever that cluster was. And people say not to open them, but I'd open them up. And if they were over here, that's where it went. If they were over here, and I didn't have no inner cover, I put it right on top of them because they couldn't get anywhere because it's too cold. And they ate that stuff up, and that's what saved the 6 that I had. Because the honey stuff, they'd be like 1 inch away from it, and they'd starve. But this year, I'm planning on the bigger colony. I'm trying to at least get a full box of bees, like Sawmill Charlie says. Make sure it's busted with bees. So we're going to see if that works this year and see if it's any better.
Hey Todd, are you guys getting any more of a nectar flow out there, or is it really dry and just kind of?
It's dry. Although, go ahead.
Has your neighbor that had the commercial colonies are they all still sitting there?
Yep.
So
Yep.
he's probably feeding the heck out of them then,
So,
I'm guessing.
but funny story. I was out there looking in boxes for any honey that I could steal.
Mm-hmm.
And I started opening a bunch of lids, and I could smell the blue curl.
Oh
And I
yeah.
thought, well, that kind of makes sense because now they're starting to bloom a little bit, more than they were. But the big part of the story is so I'm leaving. I go out to the gate. I shut the gate and lock it, and I turn around, and this flatbed truck drives by. And I didn't really pay attention to it, but it was just plain white, had nothing on the doors. And so I took off, and I passed the area where the commercial guy's at. So another 500 yards down the road, I see this flatbed truck. And then I see what's on the back of it. A tote, a pump, and about 15 nukes. And I'm like, oh, man, you got to be kidding me.
Oh, he's bringing more in.
Yes. No, this is a totally different guy.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Understood.
And I'm like, oh. So, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen.
Sounds like there's too much competition there, unfortunately, for the particularly dry season.
Yeah, it is.
See Lee's comment right there? We have a cool front coming Monday, only going to be 88 degrees. Now,
Lee, I'm sorry to tell you, that's not a cool front.
if the humidity is down, it'll even be colder. Might have to get a sweater.
Poor guy, you all are going to freeze down there, aren't you? Better turn the heat back up.
So is that how you guys get all those flavors? You just basically go in there every moment and take the honey that is extracted, stored, and pull it out and separate it each time?
What do you mean?
Some of the big guys do that. I don't.
Well, some people say like they have like strawberry honey or they have watermelon honey, or I guess when it's flowering, you just watch that period and then pull those frames out, and then even if they're partly smaller. What?
I did that for a while with orange, and then thistle, and then privet. I did that for a bit, and I just made new labels. Now, from now on, it's going to be spring honey and then summer honey, and that's it. I'm not messing around. So,
what was the challenges to it?
But you had to time it right.
Putting
And if you
supers
didn't-
on, pulling supers off.
Yeah, you got to know
That's a
what's
lot of
coming
extra
in
work.
and going out.
It's too much.
And you know,
Unless
if you
you
think
have
about it,
plenty
if
of
sometimes,
money.
let's just say the weather's not correct and you super up for a certain crop and it kind of peters out, you really kind of did a lot of effort for nothing. But again, I mean, there's always that risk reward, I suppose, you know. It's sometimes you win, sometimes you don't.
So they're basically cleared out frames ready to go, and you just throw them on empty, and then after the time period, just take them all out, whatever they are, capped or not capped, and just go with it.
I don't usually capture varietals, but I'm assuming that's exactly how you would do it. As soon as the bloom starts shutting down and you want to catch that varietal, you need to pull them off because something else is going to be right around the corner. So, or if you notice that the bees are not working that particular crop, you will probably want to shut it down.
Yep.
You know, I mean, I'm sure it's a timing game. And
You've
I mean,
got to really know your flows good in your area too.
Yeah.
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 All right, we've got our guest here. I'm going to go ahead and let Michael introduce himself.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
give us a little backstory on what he's got going on.
Oh yeah, sure. Hey Joey, thanks for having me.
Glad to have you.
Nice to see you again, Tom. And
Yes, sir.
Todd
Good to see you, Michael.
And Frank.
See you, Michael.
I see you guys. JW, I don't think we've met before, but cool to talk to you. Yeah, so I'm Michael Erpenbeck. I have been working on a electric bee smoker, actually probably for about 6 years, but I've only been talking about it much for the last year or so. And it's just a one button press bee smoker where you just press the button and get smoke out. It's pretty simple. You're able to, like I said, just press a button. It's magnetic where you can just put it on, take it off, and press the button. And so I've been talking to different people about this, getting interesting feedback. So Todd and Frank, you guys were beta testers. And you gave me a lot of great feedback. And actually, I would actually say, Frank, you're more of a beta inventor than a beta tester. You've been helping me do all kinds of crazy experiments. So, as far as that goes, what I'm trying to do is take the traditional bee smoker, and remove all the dangerous components like the how hot it is and the bellows and things like that, and just make it as simple as a one button press.
So first time I saw it, Todd had did a little video on it a while
Really?
back. That's when I discovered your channel and started watching some of it.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I started out, probably about 6 years ago. Let's see, with just like a meat smoker, and so this is a meat smoker where you're smoking stuff like salmon and steak and things like that. And you put in here little wood chips, and you can press the button and you can kind of hear the fan going in there, right? And it would work actually. It would smoke the bees. The bees would react kind of similar to a smoker. Not as much smoke, coming out of this as what a traditional bee smoker gets. But it worked pretty nicely. But it ended up getting really hot, right? And so what I really want to be able to do with it is, hey Stan, how's it going, man? So what I really want to be able to do with it is, put it onto a magnet, right? And be able to just, put it on one of the sides of a magnet, or if you just have like a really strong magnet on your body, just be able to attach it. And then, be able to use it like you would like a hive tool or something like that. But this got way too hot for that. And so I started down kind of this crazy path of building vaporizers where you can kind of see this is a dust fan for basically taking and dusting off your keyboard. And then I put in here a vaporizer to make it so that I could just press a couple buttons and get smoke out. And that worked okay. Obviously, it was kind of incremental, right? Hey, April, how's it going? April is also one of the beta testers. But yeah, as far as that goes, like I say, I'm just trying to make it kind of like a drill where you can, pull out a battery, put it in, smoke the bees, that kind of thing.
One thing that I thought was really interesting about that, Michael, when you and I had this conversation there in Wisconsin, there back in February, you were telling me a little bit about it, and I talked to you and your buddy, and I thought it was pretty interesting how you guys were actually blowing the smoke into bubbles right there.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on here? And I'm like, you really grabbed my attention, like a 3-year-old kid, basically, blowing bubbles here, and you're putting smoke in them. I thought that was pretty fun. But anyway, and
we've actually graduated from that. We now have the Airzuka, and we've been filling the Airzuka with smoke and then creating smoke rings. Yeah, so that's our next. That's kind of our next iteration. Yeah.
So
if this doesn't work, I'm going to be basically selling kids' toys.
There you go.
How far do you think you are from marketing?
So I'm actually going to be selling this first to what I call the very important beekeeper club. So, without turning this into an ad, what I'm trying to do is create early adopter prices for the very important beekeeper club. So many of the guys that are on here already and gals have already kind of signed up for the VIB club. And so what the VIB club allows you to do is it'll be the best price that I can muster at the earliest time, probably early next year, probably like I'm hoping for January. Don't hold me to that. But I'm hoping for like January. And so as far as that goes, what I'm trying to do is make it so that I can kind of take an iterative step of kind of selling it to people that, can get the most value out of it quickly. And then I'll do like a crowdfund probably in January to the broader public. And in order to be able to pay for, things like tooling and things like that. Because this is all 3D printed. It's actually pretty solid now. Todd, you dropped yours, right? And it broke into pieces. The one that I had given you was not made out of as strong a resin as this one is.
I felt so bad about that too. I was like, oh no.
It was literally the last one to break. So I was like, yeah, okay, it was its time. But yeah, I mean, really what I'd like to do is make this injection molded like a drill, right? Where, you can drop it on the floor on concrete and, it'll still kind of keep going. I've actually been working with a Mennonite family in Michigan. They just called me today, and it's funny because they're like, oh yeah, our kids, they drive their tractors over their smokers, and I'm like, yeah, it won't take that, right? It's not going to be able to live through that. And they're like, yeah, the smoker doesn't either. So it's like, yeah, I don't think I can do a tractor run, but yeah, that one is a little too much.
Well, that's kind of what the beta testers are for. Todd throwing it across the field. He says he drops it. Probably arguable.
He gets stuck a few times. He throws it on the concrete. Yeah.
Right. Maybe he throws a temper tantrum. I don't know. We're not here to judge him, but things happen, right?
Actually, Frank, I think, has the award for the most stings from testing. So he's a real trooper. But yeah, Todd. It was a blast seeing you, testing this with your bees, and it's really kind of cool to see it in different places too. Like Todd, you're in California. We've got people like April that are in Texas, trying it with some spicy bees. So it's not just me in Illinois trying it on, Buckfast bees or something, right? It's actually, a lot of variety, and that's kind of what I'm trying to get out of the beta test is. Tell me the good, bad, and ugly before I find out from other people. Right.
So, Michael, you said that you're potentially trying to get this to market in January. Is that what I understood?
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to do. Is when I say to market, meaning like the broader people can buy it on a crowdfund. And as far as that goes, though, like I say, for the very important Beekeeper Club, I'm going to try to give them a special deal. Honestly, probably in the next month. That's what I'm really trying to get to. And then, delivery probably out in January. But again, don't play this clip back to me in January. Yeah. I'm still working with manufacturers, still trying to figure all these things out. But
I can see several ways this tool would be real handy. For me, I do a lot of swarm catching, setting up swarm traps. Mm-hmm. And when I go in the evening or early in the morning, on warm days, there's still a wad of bees on front of the box like this. So I have to either light my smoker or roll up some bath tissue or paper towel or whatever and throw an old can I find in a ditch and light it and make it smoke, or try to carry spray water, you know, that don't work real good down here for whatever reason. But
Yeah, and
like I
I'm
said,
kind of trying to
smoke
look
is
at it
real
more
handy.
from like the behaviors that we want to get out of the bees, right? So, like you're saying, like sometimes you're going to be inspecting the bees, and what I learned from going to North American Bee Expo was there's a lot of people like Todd, right? And there's a lot of people, you know, in arid conditions, but there's also people that are like Tom that are removal professionals, right? And so there's different types of things that you could potentially put in this. Like this is a mixture of lavender oils and rose oils, and then some smoke aspects to it from essential oils as well. And as far as this goes, again, I'm trying out different formulations with the essential oils, but we could also use things like bitter almond oil and cherry oil. I've actually also been finding that a lot of the black licorice smells that come from anise oil are really efficient at moving bees. It doesn't calm the bees, but it moves them really, really well. And so, like Tom, you know, what I'm thinking is, you know, maybe you have you know, one cartridge for being able to, you know, move bees and one for being able to inspect bees and calm them, right? And then the idea would be that you just put one on for that specific, you know, type of thing that you want to work with them on. You know, you fill it from the top. It's just a simple, it's like a squirt gun, right?
Cool.
But anyway, I think a lot of people are probably familiar with, you know, the older version that I've been working with beta testers on. This one is really nice for being able to just, you know, switch out different small formulations. But this one here, I've actually been getting really good results as far as the amount of inspections with commercial beekeepers. So
Now
commercial
smoke
beekeepers are
time
giving me a lot of feedback.
on that one right there.
Mm-hmm.
If you just turned it on and let it smoke, how long would that thing smoke? Just
So I actually have a timeout on it because I don't want the coil to get too hot.
I got
Right. But I mean, you know, quite a while, right? About a minute and a half is what I currently have my timeout on, to basically make sure that I don't, you know, have any heat issues as far as the coil goes. The coil I'm actually replacing right now with a ceramic coil. Not to get too far into the details, but the ceramic coil, the idea is rather than a cotton coil, it has no chance of burning, right? So you could just dry and it would still be fine, right? So that's my newest iteration is using you know, ceramic coils and ceramic wicks inside of the ceramic coils to make sure that, you know, the fire, there's no chance of anything burning. Right now with these, I have cotton, which is pretty typical in vaporization devices, but I really want to make it where, you know, you could just run it completely empty and everything's fine, right?
How many ounces will the reservoirs hold?
I'm sorry?
How many ounces will the reservoirs hold?
It is 50 milliliters. I'm not sure what that is in ounces, but it does about 40 to 50 inspections, I'd say, is what I'm getting from people back. There's the Mennonite family told me they did 200, and I was like, that's crazy. And they're like, yeah, we're really fast. You know, and we don't use as much smoke as a lot of people do, right? So they got about 200 out of one, but yeah. And then as far as the actual the larger capacity battery, this goes for about 30 inspections typically. And so I've also got a smaller one for a smaller profile just to make it simpler, right? And it's, you know, a little bit easier as far as just the weight, right? But I actually have been finding that a lot of beekeepers have been, you know, going with a higher capacity one, just because they like the ability to sit it down on, you know, uneven places, right?
what type of battery charger would you need for that? I mean, is it compatible with anything that's on the market? Or are you making
So this is Milwaukee M12.
Milwaukee?
Yeah, so this is actually
You may have said that and I missed it.
Oh no, you're right. So these are Milwaukee M12 batteries. I'm actually working on a converter also for DeWalt 20 volt. so that you know, if you wanted to use 20 volt, you could use that. I talk a lot with the instant vape guy, Janos, and he had suggested to me, like, you know, you need the ability to be able to switch out, you know, different types of battery types, because people are very religious about their batteries, and I've learned that over time.
Yeah, it probably does. You probably have to have a, what is it, Prop 65 sticker put on it.
Right.
California.
Yep. Yeah, so I'm just trying to. I originally actually started out with. I don't have one here, but I originally started out with just basically using high capacity batteries that are typical in like vaporization devices, and it went into the actual housing. You know, like it went directly into the housing like you would, you know, a AA battery type of thing, but much bigger. And what I started to realize is when you have gloves on, you know, or you're working with your bees, you really don't want to pry something open, you know, try to grab a battery out, you know, that has a spring on it and that type of thing, and then try to get another one in there. You know, you really want something like this that's made for gloves, where you just, you know, put it in and out, and then, you know, something where you can just, you know, guide it in and work with it, where you don't even have to look at it. You just, you know, you can switch things in and out really quickly. A lot of people like Tom that are doing a lot of removals also said that they really want to be able to like keep extra batteries on a, you know, car charger type of thing, and just be able to swap out between bee yards or between, you know, removals and that type of thing, right?
Hey, Michael.
Yep.
Yeah. Question. 21st Bee had last week. He was showing his.
Yeah.
And it seemed like the smoke was keeping the bees down longer than what I had seen.
Mm-hmm.
I know you have different variations of smoke. I had B3. With B3 was the one that worked the best for me.
Yep.
But are you aiming to get the smoke to stay down in the combs longer, to keep the bees down there? I mean, is there some weight to it that you could keep it between the frames of just a little bit longer?
Yeah, that's really my goal is, I have what's called a frame return rate, and the idea is to be able to push the bees down and see how quickly they come back up. And so my goal is really to get on par with the traditional smoker. And as far as that piece goes, I feel like I'm pretty close to that, maybe even better, definitely more consistent. But as far as that goes, I'm also trying to make sure that we're calming the bees as we're pushing them down. There's one that works really well on moving bees and pushing them down, the N3. And with N3, what was kind of interesting is it would actually make the bees fly a lot, and people really didn't like that. You know, so you had like half of them going down, and then you had the other half flying, but it kept them down into the frames better.
I was selling that for 20.
And then
so you can actually use this to get rid of the bees and the honey frames, I guess, theoretically. Just swap out something.
Yep. Yeah. And that's my thought is, for example, bitter almond oil and things like we've been using black licorice oil, the anise that I was talking about. Those are really good at getting bees out of spaces. And so with those, I'm thinking that might be more of a, let's say that you want to take a super off, maybe you want to just make a fume board really easily, you just spray it. Or you actually use it directly in the super and move the bees out of that space. And that would work really well. Versus, like I say, one that where you're trying to calm the bees, it's a little bit different of behavior, where you're trying to move them and make them calmer versus just moving them out of a space. You don't care how, how they get out. You just want them to evacuate. I call it like an evacuation fluid, right?
Have you tried anything for mite treatment yet? Like oxalic acid or something like that?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Have you tried anything for mite treatment? Like,
I haven't, to be honest, with oxalic acid, you have to get a much higher temperature, but I do think that we could probably use this for a lot of treatments. So there's a really interesting paper. You can Google it. It's called the 30 Essential Oils for Varroa Mite, essentially. And it talks a lot about, using manuka oil, peppermint oil, and then oregano oil. So Stan, you're big into the oregano oil, and I've actually been working with Stan a little bit with trying oregano oil in this for mites. And as far as that goes, my thought is we could use essential oils for that, or in time we might be able to even do something with oxalic acid if we can get the heat up enough. That's something I'd probably talk with Yanis about. He's like the expert on everything oxalic acid. He might have some suggestions for me.
So, Michael, are you going to have an inventory of the consumable where we order bottles? How is to refill the reservoirs? How is that going to work?
Yeah. So what's interesting is I started out with this thinking, you just have different tanks and things like that. And what's been interesting is people are like, well, if I can just fill it on the top, I probably almost never remove it, right? Most of the beekeepers I'm talking to, other than the ones that are into removal work, they typically just say, well, I'd just probably refill it, right? And so, yeah, my thought is that I would end up having bottles that you can purchase and you can just, open this up, put it in there. To be honest, again, like getting about 40 hive inspections out of this. Most backyard beekeepers, when you do the calculation, that's about, if they're working their bees every 2 weeks, and they have, let's say, 2 hives, it's probably a year's worth, honestly, right? So you're probably not refilling very often. But for anybody that has, a bee yard of, let's say 40 bees, 40 colonies, right? They're going to need, more than that, right? And so I'm thinking I'd probably sell it, in a more of a smaller canister size, like 50 milliliters. And then I'd probably end up selling it in much bigger quantities where, if you're at a better rate for, if you're a commercial beekeeper or something like that, and you really wanted a lot of it. Again, it's just essential oils that we're mixing here, right? So, I mean, it's not crazy expensive, right?
I like the idea of having a larger bottle because if I'm thinking about how I would use that for my specific desires or wants or needs, I would probably still break out my regular smoker often, but thinking out loud, when I do a removal, I have never, and I will moving forward, never use a lit smoker inside of a structure. I mean, that would be a hard no for me. Just way too much risk for that. But
or certain times of the year too. Like I had a smoker that I put down on the ground here in Illinois, right? Which we don't typically have a whole lot of fire bans or any of that type of issue, right?
Oh yeah.
I put it down and fire ring started, right? And I'm just like, holy crap! Like it just doubled and doubled and doubled, and I'm running around like Laurel and Hardy, right? Just trying to put it out, but stomp it out, but. I could have really, had the grass not been cut, like it could have become a real problem, right? And so I think that, to your point, Tom, right? Like I'm sure there's plenty of people who love their smoker, maybe never want to change from their smoker. I'm sure there's some people that are like, well, I'd see it as a convenience tool, right? Like, yeah, if I'm going to be, working in the bee yard for, let's say, 8 hours, I'm going to light a smoker and I'm just going to keep going. And, if I drive up and, I just want to inspect 1 hive, 2 hives, I'll pull this out and use it on that hive, right? And I've actually been surprised at how many really experienced beekeepers who have, years of experience with a smoker, they're experts with smokers. They're like, well, I could see myself just buying it for that 1 hive that I, want to open. Just want to grab it out of my car, use it and, get it done real quickly, peek in, whatever, right?
Yeah, I can see myself doing that. I would probably leave that in my truck with the extra bottle in there, what have you, and a battery or 2 that are always charged. And when you're sneaking through a bee yard, just doing a quick inspection, and you're driving through and you see a problem, well, you go in there and start popping a couple lids real quick just to see what's going on. And they're maybe a little feistier than you want to deal with. You could puff them down a little bit without having to go in there and light a smoker. Because for a couple hives, I'm not going to take the time to light a smoker. And 2, I may not want to get lit up if they decide they want to be all grouchy during a dearth or something like that, right? So
Yep.
I can see where that would be very beneficial for simple inspections. But I'd also would say there are some people out there that cannot light a smoker and keep it lit to save their lives. For whatever reason, you would be surprised at some of the beginner classes that we would help teach, and people are just like, I can't keep my smoker going. So you try to give them some tips about how to use, and everyone's like, well, what do you use? And I'm like, wow, the broad spectrum of different, fuels that you can use. I'm like, I shred my junk mail and use that, and then follow up with the little smoker pellets that are unscented, and you buy them on clearance for $5 or $7 at the end of the year for a 40-pound bag. So I mean, basically what I'm saying here is there are definite strong needs. Somebody who can't light a smoker is going to be like, yep, I will gladly pay the cost for that and use that, and I don't have to deal with it. The people who are using it for removal service inside of a structure where it would be a horrible idea to use a flame or a hot source, and then doing just simple, quick inspection, would be, beautiful, So
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of desire for something like that. Obviously, there's going to be a cost associated with it, so it's going to be a trade-off for some people. But I like the idea that it gives people options. Not everybody is built from the same cloth. We all don't have the same likes or what have you. And I think this will really shine for some people. And I'll be honest with you, the fact that when you and I were having these conversations, the depths that you went into detail on things, I'm thinking to myself, and because I'm a guy that's very detail oriented, I'm like, he's going to pull through with this thing in like shining colors.
Oh,
And
thank
then,
you.
of course, I heard you were kind of hooking up with Michael Mahar at 21st B, and I'm like, oh, he's a mess too. So
Michael's amazing. Yeah, yeah, he's he's
No,
got all kinds of ideas.
I'm
Actually, he
hoping
gave me the idea for this current iteration for the resin that we're using on that.
Yeah,
So
and he's
that helps a
going to be
lot.
like the guru when it comes to the type of injection moldings or plastics and all that sort of geeking out stuff, which would lose me in about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
He's going to be the guy that can really pull through and be able to nail those down too. So
Brian actually helped out with that a lot too on the YouTube channel. So
okay.
Brian from Castle House, he gave me a lot of good advice also on just for the plastics to use for the beta testing, which was really helpful from both of them.
Sure.
Yeah, and to your point, Tom. So I've actually kind of identified 4 different types of beekeepers that seem to be really resonating with it. So I've got one that's like me, that's convenience, right? It's like, okay, I've got 30 minutes, I've got a backyard, hive, or, maybe I just want to go out to the colonies that I have out in the, out at my farm, and kind of go through things quickly. And so that's more of like the convenience side of things, right? And then it's interesting that a lot of people started to talk to me from arid conditions. So I started to have a lot of people starting to sign up for the very important Beekeeper Club from Texas, from California, actually Australia. I've gotten tons of people from Australia and New Zealand, and they're like, I need this now, right? Because I can't use, you think about it, and it's like, when do you need a smoker? It's summer typically, right? And when can you not use it in arid conditions? It's summer, right? So it's the worst possible time for you not to be able to use a smoker. And then I've also had a lot of people with health concerns. So I've had a lot of people, that say that they have, arthritis and they can't do this all day, maybe they're getting older, or, maybe they have hand issues or hand injuries. I've had people that say that they have COPD, that they have asthma. These are things I never thought of before, right?
Sure.
But that the smoke is actually causing a lot of ailments for them. And then I also, have had a lot of removal pros. Actually, removal pros are the ones that give me probably the best feedback. Like you need to design it this way and this way and this way, because they're in the bees all day long, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of been a lot of them. I have had a few commercial beekeepers that were really interested in it, right? Like the Mennonite family, and then a couple others, and they're some of the best testers because they really stress test this thing, right? They're doing as many inspections in a day as the average beekeeper does an entire year. So I find out a lot of information really quickly.
Yeah. Well, and something else I'll point out that some people probably wouldn't think about. So when I think about when people are inventing a new gadget or a tool or something like that, a lot of times they'll really focus on the tool specifically itself, but sometimes they lose sight of different convenience features. And what I'm specifically talking about is your little belt magnetic holder. It's super easy. It just clips on. I mean, it's ambidextrous, right side, left side. That's something that I honestly would not have thought about up front. I would have focused on like the smoker itself. But the fact that you actually have a belt clip that's really kind of low key, you can snap it right, left, whatever you like to do. And it seemed like you heard a really solid click on there. So you've got a positive connection.
Yeah. And I started out with this, and you can kind of see it. You know, what I would actually attach it to the side, and I thought, well, this is not good because, like you say, ambidextrous, right? I want to be able to use it on either side. And then I also, you know, I think a lot of people are pretty familiar with this as a, you know, this is what a lot of people think of when they think of an electric bee smoker, right? And it's essentially just a fan. You know, you press a red button here, and it blows out smoke, and you have a combustion chamber where you build your fire, and you do your thing, and then the fan just blows into the bottom here, right? And when I started down this route of building this and with combustion and everything, I thought to myself, I'm just iterating just like these guys did, right? Like I'm just looking at it saying, how am I going to make a better smoker, right? How am I going to make a better traditional smoker? And I think that instead, like you say, I kind of started to think to myself, okay, what am I really trying to do? I'm really trying to calm the bees. I'm really trying to find a way to be able to work the bees easier. What form factor would I choose if I was to do that? And I thought, well, a drill or power tool, right? Yeah. That's pretty much one of the best, that you could possibly have in these kinds of scenarios, right? Because you can drop it, you can, you can change out batteries, that type of thing. And actually, I saw a comment come through too about tea tree oil and eucalyptus. I'll just throw out there too that actually works pretty well too. Tea tree oil has a patent that's really interesting, and I can put it in the comments afterwards. But they talk about using it on your skin to keep bees from stinging you, and that's an interesting one. I don't know that I'd necessarily use it as a smoker, but it's very good for keeping bees from from your face and different places, right? So,
now how would you approach that if you like getting stung?
I'll ask Frank. What do you think, Frank?
I mean, I don't like to get stung in the face, but I mean, if I'm being honest, a handful of stings don't. Now, I don't want to completely get lit up on, completely lit up, but I don't mind a handful of stings every day. I'm not trying to stop everything,
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the old guy up there in the upper right-hand corner, JW, he said he likes getting stung. He doesn't like honey, but he likes getting stung. So,
Michael, you see that question there?
Oh yeah. There's if you go to vib.technicallybeekeeping.com, you can sign up, and that's as easy as it is to become a Vib member. It's all free. It's I don't spam anybody. I don't sell your data or do anything evil with it. It's just really literally to be able to stay in contact with people. And you get my personal email address, my business email address, and you can email me whenever you want about ideas that you might have. But it's just vib.technicallybeekeeping.com. And you can just sign up. There's a few questions that you can fill out.
Where are you located at, Michael? And are you going to be at Nobby? Have a booth at Nobby?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to Nobby. So I'm in Chicago. So I'm just a little north of Chicago, and up here in Illinois. So my next, my next event's probably going to be Nobby, I think, that I'll go to.
Are you going to be back at the Midwest Honeybee Expo in Wisconsin this year?
Yeah, I do plan to go to that as well. It's really convenient from Chicago. It's really, really close. And actually, I was surprised at just how good it was last
they did a really good job on it. Alterman and Werning, Those guys really pulled it off and did a really good job. Hopefully Melissa and I'll be able to pull it off and be able to come up there and to Wisconsin again. Maybe we'll get to hang out a little bit. Actually, now that you mentioned that, quick question for you then. Are you going to be going to the Georgia State Beekeepers Association here, not this weekend, but next?
I just heard about it not too long ago. I'm thinking about it, but I don't think so.
Yep.
Mostly because I'm kind of resource constrained. I just went to EAS, and to be honest, I need to be kind of careful with. It ended up being really expensive, bluntly said, as far as hotel room, U-Haul, all these different things that once I calculated it all out, I'm like, I got to be more careful with that because right now my focus needs to be on just building, doing the tooling, right, paying for the tooling and things like that, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, nothing against EAS, just saying like being out of state and driving that far, it actually ended up being really expensive for me. So
I can imagine so. Yeah.
Hey, Bill, if you got any questions, just jump in there.
Oh, I will. I had talked to Michael a couple of times and asked him who was going to carry that and distribute it for you.
Yeah, I don't actually have like a distributor. What I'm thinking is I'm gonna be selling it. Currently, I'm looking at doing an Indiegogo campaign and just seeing the interest level, right? And then once I do that, then I'll start talking to distributors and also on just dealers, people that will sell it on their websites and things like that. Right now, though, like I say, I just want to make sure that there's enough interest. It does seem like it, right? There's a lot of people that have really commented on the YouTube channel and everything. But I'm very conservative, so I just want to make sure that there's a lot of interest before going and starting to work with distributors.
Yep.
I think they're asking about putting a link. If you go further up, Lee put a link in there earlier, actually. So to his website, I think. I don't remember where it was at, but earlier on in the conversation, Lee put it up there.
Awesome.
So if you want to scroll back.
What was that?
Yeah, and I'll also mention that one of the interesting things that Frank's been working on with me, when I say that he was kind of an inventor, he's actually been working on trying to capture pine combustion directly into liquids to be able to re-aerosolize it, right? Which is an interesting one. I've tried it with different things like lavender flower leaves, trying to burn those, capture that, and re-aerosolize it, because chemically, then you're literally creating smoke, right? It's not a combustion process that's creating it, but you're literally creating smoke. So it's been kind of interesting. Frank's been having really good results with this pine combustion that he's capturing, and so we're investigating that one too. So I've got a beta test program where I have sent out a ton of these types of smokers to different beta testers, and the idea is for them to have different samples that they can test out and use on the bees, and we get different results of how sample like we had said earlier, B3 was one that Todd you had mentioned. We have the N4 and 5 that are also other ones that we've tried, and so just for testing, this has been a really good platform to be able to test with. This is what I'm going to end up actually selling because it's high capacity, and people can use it all day long.
Someone's got fireworks.
There's somebody going off with fireworks.
I'm like,
I'll just say
shot at.
There's somebody in my association that actually has like industrial strength fireworks that likes to blow them up. That's not like my beta test units blowing up.
I'm excited about this product. When we first talked, Michael, remember I had mentioned that, during COVID, I was just sitting around thinking about this, and I was thinking about, well, people are vaping. So how can I turn that into a smoker, And then,
Yeah.
then I saw your video and I was like, oh, wow, I don't have to do this anymore.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's kind of interesting because when I first started out, I used like a fog machine, just testing it out with the bees. And it was interesting because I almost didn't go that route because without any smells, the bees don't react. So bees are very olfactory, meaning that they react to smells, right? They don't react to the sight of fire. And so what's been really interesting to find is, you can use visual smoke on bees all day long and they just go about their business. I have a video on that, the last one that I did. And it's kind of interesting because, like I say, if you don't have the right smells in here, the bees don't react at all. And then I think a lot of people also say, just use liquid smoke in there, right? Liquid smoke is basically, different companies take the essence of smoke essentially and get it distilled into a liquid form. You can use liquid smoke. It doesn't work great. And as a matter of fact, most of them that I've found smell kind of like barbecue. And I don't think bees relate barbecue with fire like human beings do. Like, you go to a barbecue to have fire, you smell something that smells barbecuey and you're like, okay, fire. But I think bees, they don't relate that like humans do, right? They're not carnivores. So that I think that they just don't really, relate to that so much. It's more of like the wood fires that they seem to react to the best. And then, different types of like pine needle we found also, and then floral smells. So they react really well with floral smells. It also kind of confuses them because they smell these floral smells and it distracts them from you rather than, focusing on you.
That's a good thing.
Like Todd, the one that you had mentioned, that has a very heavy floral component to it. The B3, right?
Yeah.
I also like the idea that you can probably stay away from, even though I'm playing with the smoke you were talking about earlier, you can actually stay away from things that might be carcinogenic and stuff and go things that are more safe, things that are more better for the bees when we are harvesting honey and we don't have to worry about it in the honey. And you just have so many things you can control with this if you find the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I sometimes show this at like the North American Bee Expo, where I'll just show people what my smoker looks like, right? And it's like this is what your lungs look like, right, inside. This is actually a newer
That's a
one.
shiny smoker on the outside.
Yeah, it's a shiny one. A little bit of rust on there, but the one I actually bring to the expo is typically like it's much.
That inside of that one looks pristine.
It does. Compared to mine, that thing's clean.
Yeah.
I might have to bring mine and let you show everybody it.
Yeah, if you look at it, it's got like a lot of tar and a lot of carcinogenic things in there that's really kind of nasty, right? And so I think that's part of it too, is to start looking at how do we formulate these things in a much more sort of scientific way, right? Like in a very that way we can change the formulation over time and make it better and better and better. Whereas with a smoker like this, you just sometimes you're using pine needles, sometimes you're using, whatever you can find in your yard or whatever you can find in the yard. Yeah, exactly. And so, who knows what, as an example with grass, right? Who knows if you had some kind of pesticide on there too, right? I mean, it's just, you don't know where the source of a lot of these things are. Sometimes they're wet, sometimes they're dry. And so, yeah, I think as far as that goes, being able to kind of create a formulation, test it, and make it better and better and better. And then also like we had mentioned earlier, I do like the idea of being able to kind of see if we can do things for the health of the bees. So I've been working with Stan on the oregano oil, just seeing if it kicks down some of his, it's not a scientific study by any means, right? But just kind of trying to see if we can get better results with mite washes, that type of thing.
It wasn't penicillin a mistake somebody tried?
What's that?
I said, wasn't penicillin a mistake that somebody tried with bread or something?
Yeah, they ended up seeing it grow like mold. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's been a couple of those where you just wouldn't have expected it to work, but it was like, wow, that seemed to have worked. One was I actually used an actual vape early on. Like this was probably my first year, and it worked kind of well. And then I found out it actually had tobacco in it and nicotine in it. And so while it had a tobacco smell to it, it also had nicotine in it. Nicotine's actually a really good insect repellent. And so it works, but you really wouldn't want to sell this, a nicotine laced, well, I don't know. Some people might, but like I say, it's, and then the next question people typically ask me is how does CBD work with the bees? I haven't tried it personally, but
Yeah, when you
probably require a different license to sell that one.
You just made me think of something down here. Of course, a lot of other people have problems with them too, but we do a lot of camping. After you get this thing going good and everything, you might want to look at some kind of mosquito vape for campers.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. I like that one. Yeah, I've actually had a couple of hunters talk to me about using this for, kind of using it on yourself to kind of mask your scent. Yeah. Because a lot of times they'll use different types of sprays and that type of thing to mask their scent before they go out hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting my banana extract from the vape shop, and I was showing them your smoker. You should have seen those guys' eyes light up. They're like, you could have a party and everybody get high all at one shot. I was like, oh my gosh, here we go.
Well, and for anybody who doesn't know, yeah, banana oil. We were talking about that one day, and Frank was like, I'm going to try it. So banana oil has a similar smell to the alarm pheromone that bees have.
I got tons of it if anybody wants some.
I'm going to probably do that one as a practical joke, smoker fluid that you can put in your buddy's, smoker when you get ticked off at him, right?
I don't know what this banana is. It's actually a better tasting than the one you buy in the store it has like an alcohol base. This doesn't have an alcohol base, but it's whatever that other, what that other oil is. It's not glycerin, but the other one.
Yeah. Did you find that you got stung a lot more with it?
This does nothing. It was just straight glycerin. It just does nothing.
That one does.
It tastes great. It's like, and apparently in New Jersey, he has to sell it as a flavoring for your tea and that kind of stuff because you're not allowed to smell it for vapes. Right. So, yeah. So
and it's also supposedly ripe bananas that smells like alarm pheromone, right? So I'm not sure. A lot of bananas flavoring that you get is more like a fresh banana, right?
And they don't even tell you what it is. They won't, who knows? But I was on their website and they have all kinds of flavors. I mean, I'm like, wow, I had no idea. I mean, if you're into making foods that look and taste great, but they're fake. Woo.
Yeah, as somebody that's never vaped before, I've been to every vape shop in Illinois and Kentucky and a couple other states, right? And it's amazing how much people know about vape technology when you go to them. But yeah, and it's also funny to see the look on their eyes when you're like, do you have anything that smells like burning wood? And they're like, huh? Why would you want to vape that? So yeah.
So I came in late. Sorry about that. But have you come up with a price point for selling them yet?
Not yet. I'm actually working with suppliers right now to try to figure out the price. I am honestly, trying to keep the price down as low as I can possibly get it. Part of why I built it the way I did is I'm actually thinking one of the deals will be like a DIY where you get it without the battery, right? You can buy these you may already have these in your house, or these are just Milwaukee 12-volt batteries, right? So some people might already have the batteries laying around. They might already have the charger. And so my thought is just to sell the tank and then the device, and that'll be significantly cheaper because, shipping batteries, selling batteries, it's I'd much rather just sell the device and the liquid and that type of thing, right? And make it a little easier. And like I say, I think in that situation, we can get the price down significantly. But yeah, I'm still working on the pricing for that.
You could probably spend a lot of time, effort, and energy into trying to come up with and design everything from the battery unit to the circuitry and everything that to be compatible, the whole 9 yards with that. And it seems like it would be something that, like you're kind of doing, leave best left to the guys who have already designed something that's kind of tried and true. And also, I mean, for guys who, I think like Brad here was talking about having something that works with his investment that he has already. If he has got a Milwaukee set up, any one of the big ones, the Milwaukee, the Makita, DeWalt, et cetera. So that kind of
yeah, exactly. Like I'm not going to build a better battery than
yeah
a power tool company, right? So it's kind of like that core competency kind of thing, right? Like how do I make a really good smoker? And same thing with the coil, right? The coil will actually be off the shelf, right? And as far as that goes, I'm trying to keep that also down in price and everything. And you only have to change it once every year or two, right? So as far as that goes, I'm trying to make it so it lasts a lot longer than typical coils would. And then as far as this goes, like I said, these pieces here, they're all custom, right? And then as far as like the magnet goes, if you want to buy the magnet from me, right, where you can stick it onto a magnet, you can do that. But you can also just use a really heavy magnet and not have to buy it from me, or if you already have one for your hive tool, cool, like go for it, right? I'm not trying to like find every little nook and cranny to charge people for, right? I'm trying to just make a convenient product for beekeepers, right? And same with the fuel. Like you've kind of heard me talk about it today, where I'm just talking about what the different oils are that I'm using. Not trying to hide any of that, right, or patent it or something like that, right? I'm just trying to make it convenient for beekeepers, right?
Yep.
So what's the color going to be?
So I asked people what color it should be, right? And consistently, like I swear to God, probably 99% of the people said the exact same thing over and over again. Actually wasn't yellow and black. Most of the people did say yellow and black if you just chose a color. But they all said pretty much, I don't really care what color it is as long as I can find it in tall grass. That was the answer that every single person said. And as far as that goes, it yellow and black, they said, well, that would be an obvious, beekeeping, yellow, black. Don't make it, a color, like pure black, because some people have very aggressive bees. They're worried that the darker colors might be a magnet for the bees. But basically, yeah, I need to be able to find it in tall grass was the answer to what color by far.
Yeah, that makes sense. I would say the same thing. Just make the color obnoxious enough that if you drop it or lose it, or it's say low light conditions, that you can find it relatively easy,
Yeah.
And some people are backyarders and they're going to be working inside of a well-maintained and kept area. It's going to be a non-issue, but other people have a lot of colonies out in cattle pastures and tall grass areas, like you said. So having something that's bright and obnoxious, better. And maybe even, if I'm going to throw something out there, and this is kind of redundant, maybe something that have maybe a reflective strip on it or something, I don't know if that's
actually,
but
yeah, like you said, so the first thing is that a camouflage version is probably not in the future, right?
Probably not.
But secondly, like you say, actually, this one I built is actually glow in the dark, right? And people haven't really resonated with it. But they're like, well, I don't beekeep in the dark, right? But it's like, well, but you can find it really quickly, and if you shine a light on it, it'll actually fluoresce, right?
Yeah.
So you can actually, if I had an even darker room, let me see if I can turn off some of these monitors.
Well, people who say they don't beekeep in the dark have never moved bees in the dark, because you don't typically move bees middle of the day. And
I've learned the lesson before not to do it.
All right, Mike, you got to put an LED light in there and keep that thing charged for the night. That thing will glow all night long.
Yeah, let's see if I can. Well, it's pressing a little bit. You can kind of see, but I haven't actually had this out in the sun. But yeah. And then if you put a light on it, you'd be able to see it really well.
Yeah, put a little LED light in there, and that'd be glowing like a champ. I could be night keeping bees the whole time.
Yeah. Well, the thing I like about glow in the dark is you don't need any. There's no power, right? It just does it by itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, the like I say, people haven't really resonated with it. They're like, well, I don't beekeep in the dark, and I don't see a value in it. But like I say, I think it might resonate with people that accidentally leave their smoker out there, in the field.
Sure.
Another thing that people have said is
Been there,
the
done
fact that you
that.
can connect this to the fact that you can connect this to yourself, and you're basically never putting it down necessarily. You mean you might, but if you're putting this on a belt clip, if you're putting it on a on a bee suit,
Sure.
you're not putting it down, so you're less likely to lose it, right? Like your hive tool, right?
Yeah.
That being said, I've heard from a lot of people that they trip on hive tools all the time in their bee yard, but
I'm sure something like that's probably small potatoes compared to the overall scheme of the tool itself. But if you're really thinking out loud about how you make something better or what have you, and obviously you're still kind of in that design-ish, last minute tweaking stage of it, just I don't know. If I'm thinking out loud about something, I'm like, if it was a bright color or an obnoxious color, and like I said, maybe even something semi-reflective. I don't know. I get it.
I put reflective tape on it before too. They have like white reflective tape, and then same stuff that they use on the floors.
Sure.
I've thought about that as well. I've kind of tested it with just using a flashlight on it, just to be able to find it in the bee yard at night. That works pretty well. But again, a lot of people are like, well, that findability isn't so important to them. I actually worked on. Have you ever seen a tile or like an air tag?
I have.
I actually built something that you can just attach to the magnet, and then you can use it like an air tag. Or
I see. Yeah.
That works pretty well too. You can just beep it, or you can find it. Again, I don't know if that really resonates with people as much as just having it be a bright color and attach to their body, right? So
yeah. So I have a question that maybe something you haven't tested. Let's just suppose somebody left it out in the bee yard and it got rained on once. Do you think that this seals? I don't know. Maybe I'm setting you up on this one. I don't know, but kind of what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that this is so many electronics in there that if it gets rained on once, it's done, or is it kind of like obviously you left it out multiple times, it's going to shorten the lifespan of anything because electronics, battery, etc. But do you think this is something that could withstand a little bit of moisture and probably not hurt it?
I've actually done that before, and it worked afterwards. I'm not guaranteeing that, right? But
yeah,
I've actually built it so that the PCB board is actually down here inside of the inside of this area here, right? Yeah. And the reason that I've done that is, and it's sealed off from the rest. And the reason that I've done that is the most likely thing to short out is going to be PCB, right? And so, as far as that goes, the hope is that, if you left it out and, you have, morning dew or whatever, right, that it's, now a strong rain or flood, right, it's probably not going to survive that, right, honestly. Now, that being said, could you make it waterproof? You could. Would people want to pay for that?
Yeah.
Not sure, right? Yeah, and that's part of also why I've built it the way that I have with this is I call it a gunk-proof trigger, right?
Yeah, it's got rubber coating on it.
It's got a rubber coating, but it also goes into the device so that if for example propolis and honey and those types of things did happen to get into this area here, it actually wouldn't hit the trigger and it wouldn't hold down with the trigger. So you can just wash it off, that type of thing. And it's the same idea with having it be magnetic. My thought behind that is that clips over time they kind of wear out. But I'm trying to make it so that the magnets are magnetized. So as long as you don't put it near a really strong magnet for long periods of time, you're basically going to be able to just, attach, detach, just, by pulling it apart. Right.
For sure.
So I'm kind of trying to look at those types of things because you'd be amazed at what I get back from commercial beekeepers. Like this one's not so bad, but you can see a lot of the propolis and things like that. It tends to kind of hit, in certain spots on the smoker, where certain parts don't get hit very bad with the propolis, but certain parts definitely do, like around this trigger area, right? The index finger. So I'm also learning a lot about how to make it, more propolis resistant, that type of thing. So
yeah,
it's
and
something you don't have to worry about so much with a drill or something like that, right?
Yeah, to some degree, there's going to be a little bit of maintenance involved as far as like somebody trying to consciously. I mean, if you're gumping up and propolis just elbow deep, obviously you're going to have to do some sort of maintenance on it. I mean, just like with any tool, right? That kind of goes without saying, I suppose. But
yeah, yeah, and like I say, you'd be amazed at what I get back from commercial guys.
I find when you're feeding your bees sugar water, you get all over your hands. It's everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's why I like wearing the nitrile gloves. I don't use traditional bee gloves. I'll use nitrile gloves, and in between yards, I'm stripping them off. Or, if you're getting messy and
regular gloves turn like the bricks with the sugar water.
Yeah, the issue that I end up having when I have gloves that I keep for a long time, right, is that the bees they spend more time on my gloves than they do anywhere else, and it's like it's a place I don't want them, right? I've been using a lot of the nitrile gloves lately, right?
Right.
Just to not only for that, but just to keep things off my fingers.
So you kind of talked a little bit about some of the concoctions or mixes that you would use. Have you landed on certain formulas, I guess, if you will, like a certain, okay, I'm going to offer, I don't know, whatever, 3 different proprietary ones or 4 different ones, and each one of these, this one is good for this. Have you landed on any specific number of, again, formulas that you would send out?
Yeah, so currently I have what I'll call an inspection formula, and I'm down to about 4 different variations on it.
Okay.
And I'm still kind of trying to figure out which one the absolute best is between the 4.
Yeah.
And so that's part of what I'm doing with the beta testers is seeing how, the results happen and that type of thing. And so as far as that goes, I'm kind of, slowly getting to what the best formulation is of the 4. I may even do like I'm thinking about, and it'd be interesting if people want to comment about it, what they'd like. But I was thinking about maybe even doing like a sampler type of thing with the first, first version, just to see what people like best.
Yeah.
Because actually one of the interesting things, I'm not selling it to the bees, I'm selling it to the beekeepers. I've found that some people will actually say, for example, with the black licorice, they're like, I hate black licorice, and so they're like, I don't want something that smells like black licorice, even though it works really well. And it's like, well, that makes sense, right? If the person really just can't stand the smell of it, then it's not going to work well. Now that being said, you could use it on your mother-in-law or something, maybe, push them away. But yeah,
to tell you that pine straw one, I got to keep it outside. I was not allowed to keep it in the house anymore because it smoked up the whole. It's just sitting in the bottle and it's stuck up the house.
Sunk up the house. Oh wow.
Yes. She's like, where do you got this? I said, I got to take it outside. Oh my gosh, the whole house smells like smoke.
Actually, you sent me that envelope with it in there. The envelope is like triple bagged, and then it still smells like smoke. Like it's. I wonder what the person that was a mail carrier thought of that one.
That's like that nasty stuff. I think it's called Vigo. It smells absolutely wretched.
Yeah, that's the butyric acid. It smells like vomit. Yeah. Literally, that's what vomit has a lot of, right? So
I'm certain if you spilled that in your truck, you would sell the truck and probably total the thing, right?
Yeah.
I've only used it sparingly in a couple different times, which were outside, never inside of the cutout, but outside. And I'm telling you, I put it in a Ziploc bag whenever I carry it, and it'll permeate through the Ziploc bag. You have to change it from time to time. It's horrible. So yeah, I can see where certain formulas would probably be very pungent. So you want to be cautious of how you keep them, where you keep them, and the special care of them. So
yeah.
Could that be baked also?
Good. Yeah. I'd have to look at what the hazardous, information is about vaping, that type of thing. So
Only thing I was thinking is some of these bees, you get them in bad spots, you want to get them out. I mean, you just go right in that little hole and everywhere in there, get them to get out the tree, whatever you're trying to get them out.
Yeah, I mean that's
You don't have to worry about the fire,
Yeah.
Hey, Michael, here's another thought. Maybe this overcomplicates things a little bit, and I don't know that you mentioned it. Is there like a variable speed motor on it to where if you want to just barely put some smoke into an area you can, or is it just straight on, straight off?
Right now it's straight on and straight off. I'm thinking I might do like a pro version in time where like you could press it to a small extent, get a little bit of smoke, press it really hard, because I have noticed that with beekeepers that, use the smoker a lot, that, they'll sometimes do like a half puff type of thing, and then they'll sometimes like really go full bore. Right. And so you're kind of, you have a variable trigger on, the bellows. Right. So same kind of thing with this, where I've thought about, we could very easily do a trigger that as you push it harder, it'll do more, less, does less. And the reason I say a pro version is because I do worry it might confuse people, right? Like, because it seems like it's pretty obvious, like you do that a lot with drills, right? Where you push harder and it goes faster, you push less, it goes slower. But I'd have to test it, because I really wouldn't want my first version of it to tick people off. They're like,
well, I only asked about that. I'm thinking out loud. If I wanted, I mean, it seems like that pushes a lot of vapor out at the end of it very quickly. Mm-hmm. If I'm trying to, because the one thing I would use that for specifically is when I'm doing a cutout, I would use it to push bees out of a space. So I could actually drill a hole. Let's just suppose a scenario where I have bees trying to climb over a joist space through a little bitty crack or opening, because once you start disturbing them cutting the nest, sometimes they'll run off, or the queen will run and hide. You might be able to actually, puff a little bit of that vapor in there without completely overwhelming an area. And that was my thought when I'm thinking about that. And again, this may be overcomplicating something that does not need to be overcomplicated. I'm just working through questions in my head. That's all.
Well, I've actually had some removal pros say the opposite, which is they might want a fuming mode where you just, maybe you press a button on here and it just starts up and it just keeps going, and you put it into a tree trunk it just like pushes them. Right. I don't know, I don't do a lot of removals like you guys do, if that would be a good thing, a bad thing. But it might be an idea, in the future.
Well, I can see in a situation like that where you are trying to do a tree cavity, you are trying to fill a large volume of space, where I'm trying to think about inside of somebody's home, being conservative to the nature, where when I leave there, they're not calling me back 2 weeks later saying the smell will not leave my house, that kind of scenario. So I want to be cognizant of that as well. So, but I think to your point though, inside of like a tree cavity, oh man, that, you can use anything. You can use the nasty puke stuff. I mean, anything, right? Because that stuff will run anybody and everybody out of a space.
It would run me out of it.
Oh,
yeah. As far as that goes, like you say, I think I've also had a lot of people that talk to me about, like, they just say, I've really been careful about my genetics with my bees, and my bees are super gentle. I don't use a lot of smoke, so I could see using your smoker just for the occasional, puff here or there where I need it, but not really like on a day-to-day basis, right? And so, like you say, it may make sense to be able to have a very low, smoker mode where, you just need to get the bees' attention a little bit, but not necessarily, push a ton on them.
Sure. Well, I like the idea of what you're trying to do here, honestly.
Thank you.
I mean, everybody may not. Everybody might, people might be, when you come out with it, might be offended by the price. Who knows? It, again, may not be for everybody, but there I think, are specific needs that people can utilize this tool for. And I think it'll work well for them, honestly.
Thank you.
Have you
like you say, I'm
like warranty options and things like that? I'm sure that's something that you probably mulled over in your head as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at the warranties also on the tank, and then also the device, just to kind of get the best warranties I can make, right? Because I do want to make it where if people aren't satisfied with it, right, or if they, if they have some kind of, like, from manufacturer warranty, right? If anything breaks, like, I certainly want people to return it, and
Sure.
we'll fix it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as that goes, I'm currently working with a liability attorney. She's like $400 an hour, and that's a favor to me. I'm like, oh my God, how do I get into that business?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's as far as that goes, she's giving me some advice on some of those pieces too. And
Good.
And so I think a lot of that also comes down to, just making sure that it makes sense. Because like I say, I don't want people to buy it and then feel like they have any kind of regret if something breaks or something, they didn't understand how it works or something like that, right? And so
Sure.
I just want people to be happy with it, right?
Absolutely.
And like you say, there may be also just people who love their smoker and they never want to buy something like this, and that's fine, right? I think it's the right tool for the right job.
Sure.
And so I think as far as that goes, it's it's more about, if you find that there's usefulness for you in the bee yard, great. If you don't, then I'm not saying that it needs to replace every single person's smoker, right?
Yeah. I know for me, I would probably rather pay a little bit more for a tool and know that I'm going to get the longevity out of it, rather than pay for that Chinese version of it and it lasts for a year and a half, and you're throwing it in the back of the whatever job trailer or whatever it might be and saying, yeah, this thing doesn't work anymore. I mean,
yeah.
With that,
yeah, I will tell you, like, I bought this. It's a horrible device. It actually, it's almost impossible to get the batteries into it. And then this actual product on Amazon disappeared 2 weeks after I bought it.
Mhm.
For good reason, I'm sure, right? It just, like, the company all of a sudden just stopped listing it, and and those pop up every 2 weeks. You got a new one coming out there, right?
Yeah.
And that's, like I say, I think, like you say, right? I think you look at something like Instant Vape, right? And I think you have Janos, who's really proud of it, really works hard on it, and who what he's working on. He talks about it on his YouTube. I'm sure that there's a lot of I've actually reached out to him one day, and I'm like, hey, there's this Asian company that's actually using your device in the bee yard. You can see that it switches video in the bee yard where it's actually his footage of using the Instant Vape, right?
Uh-huh.
And then it switches to their product, which is a slight variation on the Instant Vape, right? And like you say, like you just wonder, does the device even work, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because they didn't have enough confidence to actually use it in the bee yard, right? Apparently, they were using his footage.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there'll be copycats too. If
100%. It's a matter of
That's
time.
like that's like the DJI drone. They got copies of that on the internet. Like, it looks exactly like one.
Yep.
Anything that sells, that gains any kind of traction or attention, and they see a market for it, they're going to reverse engineer it, build it as cheap as they can, send it out the door. And unfortunately, Americans will buy it,
Yeah, and I get it, right? A lot of people are budget conscious, but you kind of do get what you pay for sometimes.
Well, cool. Well, Michael, we appreciate you coming on, chatting with us, telling us about the device and stuff like that. Again, I think there'll be a market for this for you. Hopefully, you guys can work out all the details on the business side to make that work out for you guys. And
there's a lot of unknowns still as far as like getting the manufacturing right and all that stuff, but it's quickly coming together. So, like I say, I think probably in the next month I'll probably be putting out the best offer possible. So I'd suggest people go to the Vib and vib.technicallybeekeeping.com if they haven't already. And it's not a plug for it. It's just to say, like, I honestly think it's going to be the absolute best price that I can muster for people that are early adopters and helping out. Like a lot of people that are on this call already, right, have helped out on this project. I kind of see it as more of our project than mine, even at this point, because so many people have given me so much great feedback and helped me out with, when I published the first video, I actually expected a lot of haters, and I've been completely shocked, at how little, any kind of negative, I mean, people will say, well, how much is it going to cost, but like, I've been surprised at just how supportive everybody's been. So that's been amazing. I never in my wildest dreams, like pressing that button, I'm like sweating and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get so much hate. Right? And I really haven't. It's amazing. Yeah.
My question is this: did you woo them with the bubbles, the smoke bubbles? Because that's
That was
what
pre-bubble. Actually,
Yeah.
that idea for the bubbles came from North American Bee Expo. There was a little girl that came up and she said, "This is amazing. I just need bubbles." I was
Holy
like,
cow, that's funny.
"Smoke bubbles? That's
You're gonna have to find that kid and give her a kickback or send her like the I don't even know, the fun version of it or something, whatever.
yeah,
The
yeah.
bubble
Well,
version of it, right?
yeah, Brandon is it's his daughter, so he's
Nice.
I've been actually sending bubbles when I send different stuff to them, so
Cool.
they can try it out. But yeah, the bubbles are a lot of fun. Actually, I'm thinking about trying to create like a bubble fountain, in the next
There you go.
next one where you just have bubbles coming out, with smoke in them. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, guys, thanks for having me on here. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Hey, listen,
Any-
we're looking forward to
Anytime, man. You don't have to wait. Just you don't need an invitation. This door's always open.
Oh, thanks so much, Joey. Appreciate that. And JW, appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Michael. Appreciate you, man.
Talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
Michael.
See you guys.
Man.
I love that thing for two reasons. One, I don't have to fiddle with the smoker. And I should have said this earlier, but I don't have to fiddle with the smoker. I don't have to go find the fuel. I don't have to light it. Oh, my lighter's out. And, I don't have another one in the truck. Then I got to drive to a store because that's happened. But the other thing is I work in dead grass most of the year. I'm scared to death of one tiny ember flying out of that the spout and landed in the weeds. The next thing you know, it's on fire. So anybody that works around tall grass, tall dead grass, this is a must. It really is. The other thing is when you set a smoker down, because I always set my smoker on top of a box or a lid next to where I'm working, and when it's really puffing away, it's billowing itself. When that wind changes direction and blows in my face, it drives me nuts. It gets in my eyes. I start coughing. So you don't worry about any of that with the gun. It's easy. It's that smoker is just awesome.
It reminds me of my lighter. It's a quick fire torch. It's like on off.
Yeah.
It's too convenient. It's just like done.
Yep. No, I can't wait to get my hands on one that I can call my own, because my data smoker will just kind of collect dust somewhere, unfortunately.
Hey, Todd, did you put a lot of time in using that thing?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I used up all of. So the other gun that he was showing, where he took the pod off the front, that's the version I had.
Okay.
And he sent four vials. I used every single one of them were dried up by the time I shipped it back.
Yeah, I like that newer version he has with the plastic housing that's see-through on there that just magnetically clips in. That's perfect in my opinion, anyway.
And I like that. I like that you can fill the reservoir from the top, so you get some kind of can or something, and reload it. That's easy. So
I think I would use it specifically for me. Definitely in cutouts. That would be one of the tools I would carry for cutouts for moving bees around. And then secondly, just the general one that you use for moving bees. Like if you need to do a quick inspection, you don't want to fire up a smoker, but yet they're a little, maybe, it's getting close to dark or something. Because I've done that so many times, trying to follow up on something. You think you got to jump in real quick to take a quick, understanding of what's going on. And that would be perfect. Pull it out real quick, puff a little smoke in the top, see what you need to do and put it back together. I think that would be what I would use it.
I really think that anybody that buys this is not going to be using their old smoker anymore whatsoever. Because all you have to do is grab it. You grab it out of the truck. You go. If you're doing a quick inspection, boom, it's right there. You don't have to light anything. I mean, it's just so convenient. I personally, once I get it, like I said, my smoker is going to be collecting dust.
Yeah.
I will have no need for it.
Yeah. Hey, DC, you're not really wrong at that comment, but I will tell you, even when I spoke with him back in, I guess it was February at the Midwest Honeybee Expo in Wisconsin, it's where I first met him, and him and I probably talked for like, I'd say at least an hour, and then I went back up there later on, was chatting with him again when I think it was the next day. But I did tell him, I'm like, even there, I'm like, there's even a point in which that I wouldn't pay for it, you know, and we were kind of talking about price points and things like that, and where he was looking at wanting to be at and stuff. So, you know, there's even a price point that I wouldn't pay for it. But I can say for me, it would be pretty useful inside of a cutout situation. But, you know.
Well, put it this way, it'd be a lot cheaper than the lawsuit because you burned someone's house half down, you know.
Absolutely. Well, that's what I'm saying. I would absolutely refuse to use a smoker instead of a structure. I've never done it. And I actually had people asking me, because we built a small presentation around doing cutouts, and people would ask, well, what about a smoker? And I said, if you're working on a $2 million house inside of St. Louis County in our area, and you throw one ember in the wall, not realizing it, you button it up, you close it up, in the middle of the night, you get a call that this $2 million house is burst into flames. Yeah, I'm pretty sure my insurance company is not going to like me anymore, you know? So, yeah.
Well, guess what time it is, guys?
It's dinner time.
Dinner time.
I got to feed Tommy the tapeworm.
JW's got some questions for you.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Fire away. I know you were sitting there quietly the whole entire time Michael was talking, so I know you were thinking questions to ask.
You know what I was thinking about? Where he had a vapor that smelled like mothballs or not, so I could shoot Frostman with it when he comes out.
He knows I hate the smell of those things. I had a little tote thing that I don't know, had 6, 8 dozen, I don't know, whatever these canisters I got from a buyout of a storage locker, and I had them in there, and he said he used them. I'm like, I'm going to give all of them to you, and I don't even want the container back. Keep the whole thing. He's just trying to be mean to me. I mean, him and I are old buddies, and he's just trying to be mean to me.
Well, so no
That'd be an idea. Put it on a timer. You can have it vaporize the frames all winter long and keep them moths out of there. Just the same technology, but just make another tool. You know, it just sits in the bottom of a stack of boxes.
I'd say that'd be easy to come up with. I've got my boxes all drilled anyway. Most of my deep boxes for oxalic acid. I just stick it up through there and shoot the.
Do you find that if you freeze your frames and then seal them up tight, that they'll maintain the whole winter long after you let them thaw out, or they still wake up and find it somehow?
I never freeze them. I let the bees clean out my supers before I put them up, and then I put the mothball stuff in them, moth crystals in there on plates.
Because I had a couple that I didn't freeze, and I brought them. I've stored all mine in the house because I figured that I don't have any wax moth in my house, so maybe that'll be a safe zone. And I had a couple apparently that I didn't freeze, and I caught like 6 of them that were starting to get some wax moth. So I took them all out in the middle of the winter and left them outside for a while to let them freeze and brought them back in. Because
if I pulled that, I'd have a new wife. She'd be on me like an alligator after a carp.
But I did find out after leaving I took some of them, put them in the basement, and then sitting on the concrete was not a good thing because the moisture from the concrete got the first like 2 or 3 frames green. I was like, all right, so there's a bad spot. But
so no questions for me, JW?
No, you can go eat. You can go cook or whatever you do out there. And
no, I got a sandwich. Got my name all over it. Yeah.
Eat that. What'd you say? You got you some Taco Bell and you put it in the refrigerator?
No, I got Jersey Mike's, and it's a
Oh,
sandwich
okay.
shop, and I put it in the fridge. It's all wrapped
Number
up.
9, wasn't it?
What?
Was it number 9? One of y'all.
Number 5 is the one. Number 9. Number 9, I think Tom said's his favorite.
Oh, it might have been Tom.
6 and 3, right, Joy? We like 6 and 3.
Yeah.
Our conversation really degenerated to we're talking numbers at the local
The sandwich
swap
shop.
sheets food.
You guys ever make your own number and like a 9A or something like that because they know you?
No, I never go to those joints myself.
I knew a local store. They used to have different sandwiches for different guys. I want a Mike because certain people came in and they started making their own custom numbers, and I was like, wow.
Well, number 7, turkey for old people with high cholesterol. Don't eat turkey. Don't like turkey. If it don't moo or die, I don't eat it.
You ever have any coon burgers?
Yeah, I have. Barbecue it. Not too bad. You get them kernels out of them, and scent kernels. You better not mess those.
Yeah, you got to know where those are when you're pulling the shirt off.
Yeah. You're gonna eat coons. And I don't eat nothing anymore except beef, and pork primarily. My wife don't eat either one of them, so I get a lot of it.
Could you take them out with salt, and then you don't have to worry about it, right?
With salt.
Yeah, you shoot them with salt.
I salt my ice cream even.
Now, I used to hear people do that in their shotgun shell, like a deterrent, but it don't kill you. But I thought at close range, maybe that'll be a way to take them out.
No, I wouldn't dare shoot them. You talk about the coons?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I used to make salt shells for when I had the charter boat to shoot the dolphins with, but I always wanted to check out who my customer was with me. Some people didn't appreciate you shooting them to scare them off. Porpoises.
Yep.
You know, aren't you scared you're going to have some animal group coming after you and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't care?
I have to really be careful. You know, you wanted to check out your clientele, make sure they wasn't tree huggers before you did something like that, you know. So.
Well, you could just take care of them a certain way, you know. And
Joey knows all about it. You know, that's what he does. He uses salt in his shotgun shells to shoot his hive beetles, you know.
Yeah.
I use a torch. I use a torch on this thing, man.
He got put time out for.
I saw some beekeeper taking care of their swarms in a tree with a shotgun.
You know, not to get anybody in trouble here, but one of Joey's beekeeping buddies that lives down there near him that's world famous, he squashes those things all the time on his channel. He's never been put in a timeout.
He didn't put music to it. That's what it was.
Wow. No, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like you, Holland. I'm a salt. I salt everything I eat, just about.
Salt's good for you.
Well, the only health problems I ever have is believe it or not, and I live on salt, is if I go down, it's because it's always low potassium.
Yeah.
You know, mustard, bananas, everything known to man, you know, still go. My potassium go low. So,
do you get cranky when that happens?
No, I get goofy. I get goofier.
Well, we're getting close to 2 hours, y'all, and the numbers are dropping off real quick.
Imagine.
So I just want to tell everybody over in the chat, appreciate them coming in. Glad we had a good conversation with our guest tonight. That was real interesting.
Yeah, that was very interesting. I'm pleasantly surprised.
I had never seen any of his videos until Todd had come on, did a little video on it or something. And then he showed some more on one of the lives. Galloway, you using that stuff up, ain't you? What you got in
Yeah,
there?
that's why I started making my own from pine straw. So
Yeah,
I have an unlimited supply now. But
that's good.
It's run you out of the house.
this thing is so addicting. It's just you just once you got one, you can't stop. I mean, I want to use it for Halloween for the kids. You know,
Like a kid with a new toy.
You know.
I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. Good night, everybody.
Yep.
See you later. I gotta eat. Good night, all. I gotta go eat.